Hello, we're in Ubud. So we went to Ubud for 3 nights, and one of the best things that we did whilst we were there was go to a place called Chez Monique, and we did jewellery making. So Jim made this ring that says Jim. Also says his passport number inside, which is very helpful for travelling, but I won't show you that because it's his passport number. And I made this necklace, or this pendant, which is based on a leaf that we saw when we were in Singapore. And it says Bali on the back as well. In Indonesia, or in Bali, people tend to live with their relatives, so they'll have like a plot of land and like a few different homes. And we stayed with a guy called Putu in his homestay, so he turned some of the spare rooms and houses that he had on his little plot of land into accommodation. And it was beautiful. The bit that we stayed in was decorated like a lot of the temples that we've seen here, which was really cool. Especially the door, it was incredible. And yeah, it was a really nice homestay, and it was a good location in Ubud as well. Our host Putu is a musician and also a music teacher, and he was performing at his local temple, and also some of his students were performing there as well, so he invited me and Jim to go along and check it out. And he actually was really nice, so a couple of the guys that worked for him gave us a lift to the temple on the back of a scooter. But to be able to go in, we had to dress up. It's not dressing up, we had to wear appropriate clothing. So we wore clothes that was similar to what the locals were wearing. So that was quite fun. It was quite fun to feel like you were part of the ceremony. And it was really nice to look around the temple. We were pretty much, I think we were the only like non-locals there. And we had a guy that walked around with us, and he showed us the temple, but also kind of explained everything, like what was going on. So it was a purification ceremony, as there was some building work that was about to begin, and they just wanted to purify the temple before the building work. We completely appreciate that what we saw was very much like an Indonesian or Balinese tradition, but there were a few bits that we didn't necessarily feel very comfortable with because they're not something that we agree with. So there's cockfighting that happened as part of the ceremony, and also we saw a couple of really cute chicks that we learned would be beheaded as part of the ceremony. So whilst we totally understand that that's part of their tradition, thankfully we didn't see those things happen whilst we were there. So, if you're watching this video and you are going to Ubud, or you're maybe thinking, where should I go on my next holiday? Get yourself to Daily Baguette. It's great. I went daily, that's how good it was. So it was owned by a French woman who I briefly met. She was very lovely, and it's just incredible. I had mustard and pickles, and there were like little patisserie things and a really good croissant, and honestly it was so good that I kind of wanted to go back to Ubud just to go there again. We didn't, Jim wouldn't let me, he made us go somewhere different, but Daily Baguette, Ubud, banging. we had seen lots of pictures of that really kind of famous view of a rice field in Bali, so where the rice fields are like staged like down a hill. So we tried to find it. There was a walk quite close to where we were staying that was called the Ricefield Walk, so we assumed that's probably a good place to start. Unfortunately, we didn't see that kind of classic view, but we did still have a really nice walk, and it was nice to get out of and away from the main streets of Ubud, because sometimes they can get a bit busy, and be somewhere a little bit quieter and a little bit more kind of with the nature. We went to see a traditional fire dance. There were so many people involved in it, which I wasn't necessarily expecting, and it was quite mesmerising because a lot of the time the men who were kind of the main group that were singing were just like cha 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 cha. There was not as much fire as we would have liked to have seen in that fire dance. Towards the end, there was a guy that came out and they lit like coconut shells on fire, and he was like running through it and kicking them everywhere. So that bit was actually quite exciting. But overall, it was really nice. It was a nice experience, and it was nice to see something more traditional. And we also have some other news. So Jim did make this ring. Just joking. Not getting married, don't worry.